Alrighty, here is a video review for a fancy lad here. It is New Age MISTA, aka, what was it? This was this was Dark of the Moon Soundwave? Yes, that's right. Now, there's no real sense of scale here, so here are my hands. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, what's up with that? Because most of my New Age figures are this small. And they did a big one, so that's what this is. This is the big one. It is not G1, it is movie, and it's Soundwave. And I don't know why. I mean, I kind of know why. I like Dark of the Moon Soundwave, and it's because of this car mode. Like, I kind of, like, for some reason, I dig his robot mode a little bit, too. I don't know what specifically about it gets me, but, like, this is a sweet-looking car. It's got rubber wheels. It's even got little painted brake bits in there, which spin with the wheels, which I'm pretty sure is not how that's supposed to work, but the detail is there. I could be wrong. I'm not a mechanic, but I feel like that inner red bit's supposed to stay still while the wheel itself spins, but whatever. Here he is underneath, and he's got a fairly clean underside. I mean, if you know you got a transformer in your hands, you can see all the robot bits, but it's not a bad underside. It's not like just a face sticking out, although there is a face sticking out like this. This little face, these little faces is hiding there. This little man hiding there under the hood of the car. Hello, hello. I found it. It's the world's greatest detective. Anyway, that's a different video. But yeah, very nice, nicely painted car. You can kind of see his forearm glibbles inside the window there. Don't ask me to say that again, because that was just, I couldn't call him the same thing again if I wanted to. Glibbly dibbles. Even that was different. But anyway, there's his car mode. He comes with a couple little friends, which we will get to when we get to robot mode, which is an adventure. Like I said, it's very well designed. The fact that it turns into the robot it does from this sleek car mode is pretty impressive. There's a lot of steps to get there. The legs especially are a little bit of a floobdy because like I have turned him back and forth 5 times now, and I've done his legs 10. And I guarantee you, when we get to that point, I'm gonna be swearing. I will try not to swear on camera, but you're gonna definitely sense some frustration because the instructions, again, here's the instructions. And they're actually semi-decent, but he's so weird that it's hard to, like, I'm not always entirely sure, especially in the legs, what bits are supposed to move. Like, okay, there's a red bit highlighted here and you move it, but they're tiny. They're not as bad as, like, Masterpiece Starscream's instructions or some of the other gray instructions, but there's a lot of pieces that need to move, and there's a lot of things in here that don't make a lot of sense or are easy to miss. So again, I know he can turn into a robot. I've done it. I have photographic proof on Instagram or maybe on Twitter, but I know I posted pictures of him in both modes. So I know I can do it, but it's weird. We've got rubber tires here, functioning rolling wheels, rolls pretty clearly, nice clean clearance on the underside. And then his doors, he's got little gull wing doors that do actually open, although there's no seat in there. It's just robot bits. You can see there's his hips, there's his forearms or his elbows, or under here, elbows and hips together. So you don't get a real interesting interior. It's just a bunch of robot bits, but the doors do open, which is kind of cool. And a transformer, that's how we're going to start off. We can lift up the doors and just kind of untab them up here. There's a little tab that goes into the centerpiece here. A lot of hinges in this thing, which we'll get to. Then just kind of start separating these pieces, like this whole back assembly. Just get the doors out of the way. Go ahead and you can fold the lower half up. Just kind of get them out of the way here. But you see now there's a hinge in the middle. This kind of collapsed like Masterpiece Jazz. It's kind of the windshield's going to kind of hide inside the torso, but we'll get to that. So yeah, come up here, go ahead and And again, pay attention to his hands. You can see they're kind of put together as if they're in kind of a praying pose like this, except the thumb is flipped around in a really awkward position. And you have to do it that way to get these to fold up. So when we pull these out, pay attention to how you fold the hands back up, because they will only go back in properly in a specific way. So you want to have them like palm to palm like this, but then the thumb's flipped around to the other side and then rotated so it's actually kind of sticking back out like this. You'll see it in a minute. Then kind of untab the front here and here, and then you can see these pieces tab out of here. And that's the arm, and here's what I'm talking about with the hands. So again, it's already bent a little bit on the thumb hinge, but you have to, there we go. So the hand, you can see it goes in like that, but then you have to have the thumb folded around and pointing out that way, and it kind of slides into a slot under here, or an empty space. Then you just close that up. Bring that down and around, same with the other arm. Open it up, so this little panel lets this piece fold inside the forearm. And just fold that down. And come up here on the shoulder panel. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but bring these down. Go ahead and untab this, and kind of rotate. You can pull these pieces out and forward like this. Untab this wheel. You want to kind of start rotating the headlight around the wheel there and bring it up out to the side here. This whole assembly right here, you can kind of lift this piece up and rotate it around like that. Just have these just kind of meet together. Make it so like, just have these meet so this little curvy bit kind of circles the logo of the car there. And you come around here, and the arms are going to come down and around like this, and then on this hinge down like that. See, so this piece comes down over the hood and gives him that kind of vent on the side of his arm here. And then this piece rotates up, and that allows the arm to come forward. It should, yeah, there we go. On this hinge here. There we go. There's a little bit of resistance here, but this arm should snap forward like that. You can kind of see how his head will collapse down. You just kind of pull it up on the neck joint to reveal the head. It's kind of like, it almost looks like Jetstorm. There's this hovery leg. It actually kind of looks like Revenge of the Fallen Soundwave when you do them like this. Just a bunch of crap hanging off of him. But anyway, and then this little piece right here, fold that up onto the top of the shoulder. And there's a little tiny flippy tab in here. If you get under there, you flip that out, and then this panel kind of folds around the shoulder like that. Bring his arm around. There's his elbow. And again, bring the thumb. He's got posable fingers with thumbs on a ball joint, so rotate that up and down, or down at the hinge. To give him his fingers, he's got posable fingers and a ball joint at the wrist. We'll get to that in a little bit. Same over here. Flip the thumb around to the proper side. Fold it down at the hinge. You can rotate it wherever you want. Bring this piece up on the top. And then flip out this little flippy-do and fold that around the arm as well. And then these kind of sit on the back of his body here. But this is, we're not anywhere near done yet, clearly. So this is going to collapse up and then back down and around like this. And this kind of, I thought there was a tab that tabbed in here, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh wait, there's a tab here. The silver tab tabs into the back of this. Get it lined up right. If you don't get it all set up now, don't worry about it, because we will get to. I could have sworn there was a flip out tab here that tabbed into this spot right here, but whatever. Now the legs. Go ahead and open these panels up. Split the legs. And this is where it gets wonky weird, as I like to call it. Unlike the Pokeball. So you have to get, here's his foot, and you got to flip these little panels down right here down on either side. And untab. You can see all the stuff that untabs. He's very a floppy mess at this point. And then, yeah, you gotta get all this stuff untabbed. All the gray pieces untab from the, you can see the dark gray wheel hub plastic. All of these silver pieces tab in various spots. This tab goes up into here. This tab has a tab that goes into this slot. This piece comes around and tabs in here. And then you got to open up the foot. This is a mess. I like when it's all done. It's cool. The car mode's fantastic, but getting all this stuff out, you got to kind of open this up and then bring the, there we go, bring it down and around. Flip this knee piece up. That's even the knee piece. Yeah, bring this down. This is going to form like the kind of a shin panel, thigh panel here. You may even need to flip around like that. I'm not sure. Get the doors up out of the way here. So you can kind of start to see how the leg's coming together here. It's a little awkward. Bring this around. Oh, rotate. This whole assembly rotates around as well. And going back to car mode can be a little difficult because you got to line all this stuff up, and this waist swivel keeps wanting this thing. So just when you think you've got the legs lined up, this waist swivel will go slightly crooked on you. Anyway, so bring this down and around. Get this out of the way here. And then this should come around. This piece should wrap around. There's a ball joint here. Because see, this tab is going to go in here on this leg bit. It's just a matter of getting it all. Yeah, there we go. Push that through. Okay, the upper body. This needs to come around and in. Yeah, there we go. Get that down in there, like between there, like that. The back windshield piece. This is front toe, so lift that up. This piece rotates around, and then you can see there's a tab there. Now these screws in here allow this to slide in. You can see how it slides in here for car mode. They were just a little loose. It made, I mean, as it is right now, it's still a little loose just because you need to have the room to get over that tab. But you can tighten that screw just a smidge so it doesn't come off the tab as easy. All right, but there's the foot. And this has got to, again, yes, right, separate this piece. This should be up higher. Did I do this? I'll flip this, maybe. Oh, there we go, like this. There we go. Flip this up, and then this should come around like that. There we go. So rotate this around on this hinge until it looks like that. So here's the back tail light, the back trunk, and then this was the piece that was the vents on the back of the car. Fold that caddy corner so it's at a 90-degree angle, and then you should then you're able to fold it around, and then you push it through here, and then this piece will tab in onto the inner leg here, and then this piece should rotate. Well, there's the ball joint. Should rotate in like that and kind of fill in that gap. And that's what the leg should look like. It kind of, the upper leg is here, and then where it actually connects, the lower leg is over. It kind of angles over, but because of the way it fills in, it looks like a coherent leg, but it does kind of chink, chink, chink a little bit. Very frustratingly. Let's see if we can't do this other side. Maybe a little faster. So I'm going to get everything off of the wheel well first. And then open this up and bring this whole assembly, or flip it around. Come on. There we go. Bring this down. No, you want the silver piece to go on the back. So this little silver piece right here sits on the back of the leg. And fold this panel around and up and around like that. There we go. Hey. And then bring the knee piece up like that. Bring this all the way out to the side. And again, take this and fold it, untab it from here. And fold it 90 degrees away from that piece like that. and then rotate it. Well, make sure you do it when it's rotated the other way, because otherwise you have problems. Get it around there like that first. Bring this piece in. Get this piece down and around on the opposite side of the wheel, like that, and fold the. There we go. Come on, keep going. Fold the tail light around. Make sure this comes around like this. There we go. Tab it in like that. And kind of set this up on the side of the leg. Bring the toe around here. Pull it again. This is where it sits in car mode. You pull it out on this, rotate it down, flip it over that tab, lock it into place, flip the toe up, bring the heel down. This piece kind of sits right in here. And then you get the, there we go, windshield in the middle. There's his legs. They don't look great right now because we're not all folded up. And then you gotta turn them around, collapse the windshield up here. Oh, there we go. This piece tabbed. If you collapse this up into here like this, and this piece right here does tab into the back of the, there we go, like that, into the torso. I knew there was something that tabbed in there, and then bring this piece down and latch it into the spine like that. Bring the wheels up here. The doors just kind of sit on his back, however you want. Because you can see they're on a dual hinge there. If you want to have them hang down low, you can flip them around like that, but I think they look better just folded up like door wings. Bring his shoulder back down here, flip that piece back up. And then it's just a matter of like arranging the kibble. He's very broad shouldered. I feel like I do wish these collapsed in a little bit more, like his shoulders collapsed in, because he's very, very wide. And again, because of all the bits that twist and turn here in the legs and such, it takes a second to get them all oriented properly. But it is a pretty decent looking sound wave from the movie, and you can angle, again, the wheels can angle up, lift his head up a little bit. His mouth is not open. I thought it did, but it's not. Very silver, very shiny. I do like the blue detailing here on this. I wish there were maybe some of this bluish paint on some of these arm reflectors or whatever they are. Sound projectors, speakers. So yeah, there's a lot of engineering that goes into it, and I think it works. It does make the legs very fiddly, both during the transformation and posing. And once you get them in a pretty decent pose, it's nice, but it's very easy to knock some of these panels out of joint trying to pose it. Like, he's got a knee joint, he's got a thigh swivel, he's got dual hinge hips, he does have the waist swivel there, which we saw. He's got a rotational joint in both directions at the shoulder. He's got a bicep swivel, a single hinge elbow. He does have a ball joint at the wrist, as well as that ball joint on the thumb, and all the fingers are hinge articulated. He's got a ball joint at the neck. At least I think it's a ball joint, but I mean, he's got a ball joint and a hinge here at the neck. And all in all, fairly posable. He does come with, if you open up his hand, he does come with a gun, which has a couple posts on it that you can peg into his hand. And give him a gun. If you so desire. He does come with a laserbeak. You can get him to perch. Takes a little bit of a balancing act, because there's, near as I can tell, unless they're just being super stubborn and hiding from me, there's no real way. He does have a couple slots here in his feet, but that's just the opening for a ball joint there, you know, when you put those things on. But you can get him to kind of perch on his arm if you're careful. Come on, do it. Come on, do it. There we go. Let's just say that worked. So there he is with laserbeak on his arm. Laserbeak himself has some decent articulation. He's got a ball joint here at the lower neck. He's got a ball joint here at where his head meets the neck. He's got a ball joint here at the tail, at the body. He's got a hinge here on the very tail tip. These little pieces, the little tail feathers with missile launchers on the bottom can fold up and are on separate hinges. There's a hinge at the waist, or at the hip, I guess. There's a ball joint at the hip, a ball joint at the foot here. The wings can lift up, as well as they can rotate here at the turbine, although mine are very tight, and oh, there's a screw there. So if you're super tight, you might be able to loosen it a little bit. This side is really tight, and I was worried that maybe I was twisting a peg off, but seeing that there's a screw there, I can probably just, let me get off there, clip jumpers thing. Probably just loosen that screw just a smidge. And yeah, now it moves freely. Same with the wing here. The wings can be a little tight, but now that I know it's a screw, there's that. So you got motion at the turbine, at the body, and then another hinge on the outer wing. So a lot of articulation for such a small, spindly little laser beak, which is cool. Also, in a separate little box with him, I don't know if this is like a first release bonus gift, like some things are doing, but there is also, whoop, bumped it around there. You also get a little box here, and in that box is a little Ravage with some pieces that I have not assembled yet. You put just some little pieces on sprues. I know that's not the way you want to do it, Gundam builders. And when I'm building Gundams, I don't. But for the sake of that, we bring his legs down. You're kind of seeing all the articulation as I open him up. It looks like his jaw opens. If I can get a finger in there. Yep, his mouth opens. There's a little Ravage too. Oh, maybe I had that the right way. I don't know. No, that looks better. He's got a posable tail with the barbs on it, superposable legs, ball joint at the hips on both legs. He's got a ball joint in the middle of his body. He's got he's even got a ball joint there where his back hips meet his spine. Some really nice articulation on these little dudes. He's got a ball joint here on this turret, which we haven't attached the guns to yet. But you can attach his little back guns here. And you've got a cool little Ravage for your, there we go, for your sound wave as well. So there's New Age MISTA, aka Dark of the Moon Soundwave and Friends. Like I said, a little frustrating in the legs, and you do want to be careful of how his, you can really put those, there's a lot of things you can arrange really however you want. Some of these little panels and things to your own preferential liking. The biggest tip is going back to car mode to get those thumbs folded around like I showed you. The legs are, like I said, I've done it several times, but there's always just there's just so many little floopy things in there to get them done. And you can see even this in there is even just messing with them. It's easy to knock some of those panels out of alignment. But he looks good, and he's a nice representation of the character. His car mode is fantastic. And real quick, because they're here, here he is with the Studio Series version. And you can see all the matching details. Again, this is a little different here. His legs were a little simplified for the Studio Series. Now, personally, like I like the proportions here on the Studio Series, like just up here in the upper shoulders. Fold these in right here. It's not quite as wide, but I mean, I guess he's still a wide boy, but he's not. He doesn't get quite as skinny in the middle. But you got much back. Skinny in the middle, but you got much back. Anyway, that's not for you. That's for me. That's my entertainment. Anyway, there is New Age MISTA. Also, like real quick, he comes in a very compact box. A very cool kind of 80s. He's watching you neon, but he comes packaged in vehicle mode in a very compact, cool little box. There is New Age MISTA. Fiddly, but cool, and worth checking out, especially if you've been used to, these little dudes that they've been doing, which are also fantastic. I love this scale of figure, but this is their first attempt at like a more masterpiece style robot, at least that I'm aware of, and it came off pretty well. And the little companions are fantastic.